Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Get you an update on the Masters coming up in about 30 minutes. A little bit more talk about LSU football and baseball coming up in 15 minutes. Right now, let's go to the Jim's Firearms Hotline. That's where we find our friend Michael Katz from the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal. It covers the Ole Miss Rebels. That's where LSU will be over the weekend in Oxford. Big series for both teams. Let's talk about it. Michael, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing well. You know, the good thing is there's never anything to talk about when Ole Miss and LSU meet up, you know?
Is it safe to say that people in Oxford hate LSU more than Mississippi State now?
Hate's a strong word. I don't throw that one around a lot. But, you know, let's just say it's been an interesting few months in that relationship.
I don't think that's going to bleed over to the baseball crowd, is it?
I think you'd be surprised.
Okay. I'm fine with that. I like a little dislike in sports. Let's turn it up a notch. Obviously, both of these teams coming off a big rubber match win on the road last week. Ole Miss did it in dramatic style in Gainesville. How big was that Game 3 win for the Rebels last week?
It was huge. I mean, you know, listen, you hate to say, like, season saver and those sorts of things at this time in the year when you're only a few SEC series in, but listen, the schedule is going to continue to be tough. There's a big difference between being 5-7 and 4-8 and all those different things. So it was hard to see a path forward to an extent if they drop that series. And I think part of it too is that for so much of that last game, it looked like all the problems Ole Miss has had all season. It was can't get runners on, and when you do, you can't bring them home. And then all of a sudden, they explode for 5 runs in the ninth, and the narrative completely changes. So it was huge. They needed that. The series against Texas, they won that game 1, and things were looking good. And then obviously games 2 and 3 didn't go their way, and then Mississippi State, that was, I think that the term Mike Bianco used was that they should all be embarrassed by what they put out there. So I think just in terms of obviously staying afloat in the SEC was huge, but just bouncing back from what happened against a very good Mississippi State team, I think it was crucial.
Let's talk about the offense because we know some of the names. Judd Utermark has been a star there. Tristan Bissetta has been fantastic for them this year, but boomer bust is a term I've seen tossed around with this Ole Miss team. What have you seen from the offense?
It's interesting because I think we think of this team as being, if they're not hitting home runs, it's not working, which is true. I mean, this is a very home run dependent team. But I remember talking with somebody in the press box a couple weeks ago, and we kind of came to the conclusion that they don't hit enough home runs to be able to do that. This is the team with them. I believe they have the most strikeouts in the SEC. I think it's like 334. Second lowest batting average. They'll take their walks, which helps. But the problem is when they get guys on base, they have struggled at times to get those guys in. I believe it was the last game against State. They left 14 runners on base. They have struggled with, when they get the table set, kind of finishing the job. So, there's a lot of, big names. Of course, you mentioned Judd Utermark and Bissetta, and Bissetta's been in a little bit of a slump. He was hitting like 406 for a while. I think he's hitting in the 320, something like that. But he's been fantastic, and he's got a ton of pop. But you look around, and Will Furness has been you guys obviously know the Furness name.
Oh yeah.
But he's been a very he's been just kind of one of the heart and soul pieces of this program for a couple of years now. But there's just a lot. There's a lot of swing in this, and there's a lot of, if the home runs aren't coming, and if they don't hit home runs like Georgia does, and I don't think anybody hits home runs like Georgia does right now. I think Ole Miss is like 28th nationally in home runs, which is obviously good. But when you don't do all the other things, I think it can make it, you're going to get a lot of these 10-run games, and then you're going to get these sort of 2-0 shutout losses, which I think is kind of frustrating for fans.
Do they try to bunt a little bit, try to run, do some hit and run things, or are they just kind of trying to stand there and launch it?
They have, they're trying, and it's not for lack of, trying to move guys over. It seems like the bunts, when it works, it's a revelation, and then it doesn't work the next time, right? And then it's back to square one. But it's kind of been what this team, it's what they were last year too. I think they probably had a little bit more contact in last year's team, but they were extremely power dependent, and it worked. Again, they hosted, and they ended up losing that regional, but it was a big step from where they had been the previous couple of years. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if this thing changes at this point in the season. Like, do you just get good with guys in scoring position? Do you just suddenly learn contact? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see, because I think this team with their pitching can be really, really good if the offense just gets a little bit more consistent.
That's where we're going next. Hunter Elliott will get the baseball tonight. Tiger fans familiar with him. He's been there for 5 years, though sidelined for about 2 of them. What have you seen from Hunter Elliott this season?
He's the same Hunter Elliott he was in 2022 as a freshman when he led them, helped lead them to the College World Series title. He's just consistent. He will battle control occasionally. He will let guys get on base from time to time, but he's so good at not letting things snowball for the most part. Part of it is he probably has the best pickoff move in America. Guys on first often do not stay there for long because he is just so good at shutting down the running game and getting guys caught in between. But he's the same guy he was. He's going to throw in the low 90s. He's going to have a devastating changeup. He's going to throw some other stuff, and he's really good at getting himself out of jams. Usually, it'll be a slow first inning maybe, and then he really hits his stride. But he's on Friday nights. You guys know this. You want someone who's going to give you a chance, and he gives you a chance every Friday. Absolutely
does. Michael Katz is our guest. Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal, covers the Ole Miss Rebels. Kate Townsend, that's the stuff profile you're looking for in a collegiate ace. He pitches on Saturdays. Dealt with some injuries, it sounds like. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, he was a huge recruit. He's from Southern California like me. I remember hearing about him a little bit when he was coming up out of high school, and last year it was a little bit up and down. That's true freshman. It kind of happens, but really it seemed like the turning point for him was that SEC tournament game against LSU that he started and looked like a completely different guy than we had seen. He wasn't battling control. The stuff was electric. It's mid to high 90s, and there's breaking balls with different shapes. He looks the part of a guy who's going to hear his name called very, very early, whether it's this next draft or the one after that. I saw a projection with him as the top. I think D1 Baseball had him as like the top pitcher SEC-wise in terms of prospects right now. So he's been great. I think him settling in has been important. He did have a little bit of an injury a couple weeks ago at Texas. He left that start after, I think it was in the first inning. But it was a best-case scenario, so they basically shut him down for a week, and he's been back for 2 weeks, and he's looked pretty good. So, obviously you'd love to get some length from him. I'm not sure how. I don't think there's any limitations on him right now with that shoulder. But the MRI came back clean, so I think they feel pretty good about him.
LSU's been a mess on Game 3 since Cooper Moore, their Saturday starter, went down. They're just trying to piece it together, and they've had to win some slugfests. What can you tell us about Ole Miss in Game 3 this weekend?
Yeah, so it's going to be Taylor Rabe, who is I believe he's a redshirt sophomore now. And he's a guy that last year, too, kind of like Townsend, was a little all over the place. He's a guy who had a redshirt his first year because of injury, but he was highly touted, and he has he's looked really good. He's played a lot of different roles. Obviously now he's in the starting rotation, but he's been a guy out of the bullpen for length. He's been a guy just to get a couple outs. He's pretty much done whatever they need. It was Will Libbert at first, the Missouri transfer, who has incredible stuff too, but he's sort of been battling consistency lately. So Taylor Rave has been the best option, and I don't know how much length you're going to get out of him, but he's going to give you 3 or 4 probably really solid innings, and then I think the idea is you can figure it out from there with the number of arms that they have. But Rave's been really good. He's a guy that looks the part. He's going to throw in the mid-90s. He's got the off-speed stuff. He's this rotation is a big reason why this team is where it is on the positive side, because like we talked about, the bats have been a little bit up and down, but this rotation overall has been really strong.
Enjoy the baseball this weekend, Michael. We appreciate a little bit of time. We'll catch up soon.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you.
He's Michael Katz with the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal covering the Ole Miss Rebels, and his read on it is very similar to mine. If LSU's going to win this weekend, it's probably not going to be bashing around these stud Ole Miss pitchers. It's going to be holding that stagnant Ole Miss offense down, and that's what you've got to do. And that starts with Case and Evans tonight and continues on with your bullpen and William Schmidt and whatever you can do on Game 3 on Sunday. So appreciate Michael for a little bit of time here on this Friday about that work week in the rearview mirror. Hope you've gotten there. If not, we will get you to the finish line. We'll come back. We got 45 minutes left to go on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Ochsner wants to remind you there are different places to go and get your care depending on what your current situation is. So visit their symptom checker online at ochsner.org/findcare. If you're looking for primary care, that's for your annual checkups, your preventative visits, maybe your immunizations, easy for me to say, mild asthma, maybe some chest pain that's very moderate stomach ache. That's where you're looking for primal care. You could do some visits online as well. Urgent care, that's when things are taken up a notch. You're talking about sprains, broken bones, lacerations, earaches, minor burns. They can handle walk-ins there. They've got extended hours in their urgent care facilities. So find a location near you at www.ochsner.org/UC. And then emergency care is obviously the most severe. You're talking about severe chest pain, severe bleeding, trauma, loss of consciousness, severe abdominal pain. That's when you need to go and dial 911 immediately and get into an emergency room. Those 24/7 virtual care options are always available. You can schedule them online through MyOchsner. And then, of course, you can download the MyOchsner app at www.ochsner.org/MyO. If you're looking for additional resource, you can call on Ochsner on the phone, 1-800-231-5257, and a nurse can help direct the listeners to the best care option. That's from our friends at Ochsner.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Many thanks to Michael Katz, Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal, for jumping aboard, giving us a little time on the Ole Miss Rebels. Reminder about First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust, online at FABT.com. Bank local. Bank with First American Bank and Trust. They've been here since 1910. That's 116 years they've been serving Southeast Louisiana. All 25 of their locations are in Southeast Louisiana. That means when you do business with First American Bank and Trust, you're doing business with somebody in South Louisiana like you. You're doing business with someone whose kids go to school with yours. You're doing business with someone who attends the same church as you. And the decisions that are made at First American Bank and Trust are made locally. It's not some call center or some office in Seattle or Atlanta, right here, Southeast Louisiana. And when I say locally, you think, well, that's sizable business here. If I'm talking about a business loan, I gotta go with the national guys. They've got the resources. First American Bank and Trust has 25 locations. They've got the resources to help you out. It functions like the big national banks, but it gives you the feel of that community bank, which it is right here in Southeast Louisiana. Their management team at First American Bank and Trust averages 25 years with the bank. It's just part of the fabric of the community. So bank with First American Bank and Trust. Commercial loans, personal loans, First American Bank and Trust. So we got an email today from LSU that said we're going to go inside Tiger Stadium on Saturday for 11:15 for practice. This is a guess because the email doesn't say. My guess is we're going to get to watch a lot. I don't think they're going to bring us out to campus, send us up the elevators to the press box of Tiger Stadium, open up the windows, and let us watch 15 minutes of practice. Like that's probably not how it's going to go. I also don't think they're going to go inside Tiger Stadium, bring the press in for an extended amount of time, and run through cones a lot. I think we're going to see some action tomorrow. Maybe it's just 7-on-7. Maybe it's 11-on-11, no contact or thud. I'm not sure. I don't know. This is a new staff. We just got the email that said, be there at 11. So I'll be there. So it's hard to give you a preview of that and kind of what I'm looking for without a little bit more context. But I'll tell you this. Here's where my mind went when I saw the email. My mind went, I think we're going to get to see some 11-on-11. Maybe just 7-on-7, and I want to watch these quarterbacks. I think it's interesting. Now, I'd rather watch Sam Leavitt. I'd rather watch the prospective starting quarterback of LSU go run through some of Lane Kiffin's offense. That's what I'd rather watch. But he's hurt. He got screws taken out of his foot. He's on crutches this week. He ain't practicing. But I'm interested in the other two guys. I've said this very, very often. There are stories like Cardale Jones winning a national championship as the third quarterback. There are stories like Tom Brady relieving Drew Bledsoe and like Nick Foles stepping in for Carson Wentz. Those stories absolutely exist. They are the exceptions to the rule. The rule is if your starting quarterback goes down, you're in some trouble. And I believe that to be true with LSU in 2026. I believe that to be true at Ole Miss in 2026. I believe that to be true at Texas A&M and Alabama in 2026. I believe that to be the truth most places. Your starting quarterback goes down, you're in trouble. So I'm not here to say whether or not Husan Longstreet or Landon Clark is a star right now who's ready to step in and win a national championship for LSU. But I am intrigued with both of their skill sets, and specifically, I'm intrigued with Husan Longstreet, who is potentially the long-term quarterback at LSU. It's potential. I know, you know, that the transfer portal opens and nobody hops in the transfer portal more quickly than quarterbacks. Husan Longstreet just did it. Okay, so I'm under no illusions that I'm talking in certainties. But there's a good chance, good, not great, good chance that Sam Leavitt plays this year. It's his third year as a college football starter. He's ready to go to the NFL, and he makes the jump, and LSU is looking for a new starting quarterback. And Husan Longstreet could be that guy. And my sense is, I don't know this, it's impossible to know with the roster turnover every year. My sense is that LSU is going to get better year 1 to year 2 to year 3 to year 4 to year 5 under Lane Kiffin. That's my sense. I think Lane Kiffin's going to win here, and I think he's going to do it over time. I think expecting the moon in year 1 is ambitious, even though I'm excited about the possibilities. But there's a reasonable chance that some of Lane Kiffin's best teams at LSU, maybe better teams than the one he fields this year, are quarterbacked by Husan Longstreet. And I don't really know that much about him. I've seen the YouTube highlights from Southern Cal. I've watched him throw some crossing routes on a field 55 yards away from me at practice. I'd kind of like to see him play a little bit more. Now, that said, Landon Clark's been running with the ones. I'm not sure why. Maybe they think he's better. Maybe they think he's older. Maybe they like his skill set more. Maybe they're just trying to ease Husan Longstreet in. Maybe they're putting younger receivers with Husan Longstreet because he's going to play with them later. I don't know why anybody's getting the reps on that deal, but Landon Clark's usually with the ones. I am more interested in watching Husan Longstreet play. Former big-time recruit. Lincoln Riley wanted him. His numbers in mop-up duty at USC are very good. It's mop-up duty. I got it. I want to watch it. I'm not going to draw any sweeping conclusions tomorrow inside Tiger Stadium about the 2028 season with Husan Longstreet at quarterback. I just want to watch him play a little bit. I think that's interesting. And so I'm excited to see some of that. I also want to see these wide receivers make some plays. And I say that because Lane Kiffin said that the defense is way ahead of the offense right now. And as I said in the first hour, I feel like LSU's secondary is already good. DJ Pickett, PJ Woodland, Ty Benefield, Deshaun Spears, Tamarcus Cooley. These are proven commodities. Pickett's played a whole season, feels like a number one corner. Woodland is 2 years in. He's undersized, but he's a dog. We think Ty Benefield is going to be a star. I like Deshaun Spears. He's been good in his playing time. TaMarcus Cooley, proven to commodity. I think the secondary is already good. And so for me, I like when there is a proven commodity on the practice field, whether that's in football or baseball, where I watch a lot of practice. And an unproven commodity does something well against them. When I would go out to LSU baseball practice, I liked it when Alex Lang got roughed up. Because I know that Alex Lang's going to go out there on Fridays in the spring and be great because he's already done it. I know that P.J. Woodland and DJ Pickett are SEC quality corners. I want to see Jackson Harris beat them. I want to see Jace Brown beat them. And I want to see the quarterbacks get them the ball. It concerns me when you've got a proven commodity and they just pummel the other side. You saw that with the defensive line last year with LSU's offensive line. And it carried over. Again, it's April, so I'm not making sweeping conclusions tomorrow. It's just something I would like to see. I would like to see the quarterbacks show up and make some plays, and I would like the wide receivers to make some plays as well. Let it be known, I'm confident that Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss are going to score points with this amount of talent. I'm confident. I'm also confident in Blake Baker's defense, and as I told you, I think the secondary is very good. But this will be our first extended look at LSU. I say that because of the stadium, the email that we got to tell us to be there, and oh, by the way, we can't video. So they might do some things that are actually part of the offense since we can't video it and other teams can't run to the internet and pry something from it like the Zapruder film. So I'm excited to get inside Tiger Stadium tomorrow. We'll have a practice report up at louisianasports.net. You can read that for free sometime early afternoon. We'll be there at 11:15. I'd imagine probably an hour or so. No way to know. And then we'll type something up. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. Before we go to break, because I want to do a little bit of Masters talk to close things out, I want to do just a touch of discussion on SEC baseball this weekend, just a couple of series that have my interest. I'm going to tie it back to LSU a little bit. Texas and Texas A&M are going to play this weekend, and it's going to be a massively emotional series for Texas A&M. You know that Jim Schlossnagle is making his return back for the first time since he left them 2 days after a national final loss. He is persona non grata there in College Station. It will not be as rambunctious and as, hostile as Lane Kiffin's return to Oxford is going to be, but it's going to be rough. As rough as a cloud full of people that blow bubbles can be. And so they're going to expend a lot of emotional energy this week. And what does A&M do next week after this Texas series? They come to the box. So I'm going to have my eye on that. Texas has a great pitching staff. And Texas A&M has a great offense. I'm very curious how those butt heads. And I want to see if Texas A&M can get Texas out. Texas' offense is very good. Aiden Robbins has been awesome for them. And A&M's making a switch in the rotation. They got pitching issues in College Station. That gives me some hope for next week at the box. Hopefully it's warm and LSU can swing the bats really well. But just hypothetically, let's play hypotheticals. A&M goes out there and gets swept this weekend by Texas. Schlossnagle comes into College Station, sweeps them. All of a sudden at that point, you're talking about a team that's under 500 in the league and a coach that, I wouldn't say the hot seat, but is uncomfortable. That changes the dynamic in Baton Rouge next week. It just does. Let's say A&M goes out and sweeps them. Well, then they've got a lot of momentum. They're 10-5 in the league. But do they expend all that energy, and is that like the top of the mountaintop? Do you catch them on the down? I think LSU is catching A&M at a great time, regardless what happens. Because this is the weekend everybody in College Station has been circling. And there are still guys on that team, Gavin Grahovic, Caden Sorrell, Shane Sadeo, that were on the team that Jim Schlossnagle left. So not only is the fan base going nuts, those dudes have this circled too. They played for Jim Schlossnagle. They played for Nolan Cain. They played for Max Wiener. Their whole staff went to Austin except their current head coach, Michael Early, who's way over his head. So A&M Texas is not of direct interest to LSU this weekend, but indirectly with next weekend, I think it carries some weight, and I'll be paying attention to that and watching it. The other series, and I'm not even going to really get into this one, but I've just got my eye on it. Arkansas and Bama. Arkansas is 5-7 in the league. Bama is 8-4. I think Arkansas is better than Alabama. That is probably based on the program and not the actual results. But I'm just going to buy Dave Van Horn, and I'm not going to buy Alabama right now. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one over the weekend. And then, funnily enough, South Carolina, Missouri play this weekend. So one of them, if Missouri beats South Carolina in Columbia, Missouri this weekend, they'll have won 2 SEC weekends in a row. South Carolina is 3-10. LSU sees them in a few weeks as well. So the worst 2 teams in the league will go at it. Somebody's got to win. We'll talk about it a little bit on Monday. All right, let's step aside. We got 30 minutes left to go. Update from Augusta, some LSU baseball, and we'll close things out. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Do a tub-to-shower conversion. If you've got a bathtub that doesn't work, or you've got a bathtub that's old and dingy and kind of gross, if you've got a bathtub that you don't use, I got 2 bathtubs that we use because I got 2 munchkins that got to take a bath every day. But if you don't ever take a bath, then go ahead and take that bathtub out. Put a gorgeous walk-in shower and change the aesthetic of your bathroom. Change the functionality of your bathroom. David Duvall and his team will do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. They can take that tub out, put that shower in, as David tells me, generally in 3 to 5 days. It's a small project in terms of time. It can be affordable, and if you're looking for financing options, they've got 0% up to 18 months. That's same as cash. Get that free consultation soon and start that process soon with One Bath and Closets. They're online at onebathandclosets.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday show is brought to you by Corks. Check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com, corksfishandshrimp.com. Let me run down the Masters leaderboard for you. I have a huge question to ask Jordan. Not necessarily golf related, but kind of golf related. I'm very interested to see what he has to say. Rory McIlroy leads by 2. He is at 7 under par. He did get to 8, but he bogeyed number 5. So he is 2 shots clear of a pack at 5 under. He is 7. Justin Rose is finished with his round. He is 5 under, having never won the Masters. Jason Day never won the Masters. He's 5 under as well, making the turn. Patrick Reed, a one-time Masters winner who spent some time here at U-High. He is at 5 under as well. Wyndham Clark is done. He is Tyrrell Hatton are at 4 under with Hal Tong Lee. That's where Sam Burns is as well. So this is an incredible leaderboard right now of guys within 3 shots of the lead. You're talking about Justin Rose, Jason Day, who are desperately searching for green jackets. Patrick Reed, who's looking for kind of a resurgence of his image. Wyndham Clark, a U.S. Open winner. Tyrrell Hatton, who has never won a major championship before, is right there. Hal Tong Lee shows up out of nowhere. And then you got old Shreveport Sam Burns, who's 4 under, just dropped a shot at 11, but he is 3 shots back and certainly in position. So the winner, as we know, sets the menu for the Champions Dinner the following year. And generally, they like to do something that reflects their home area. Had a great sushi spread from Hideki Matsuyama. You saw some Canadian elk with Mike Weir. You've seen some great different variations of local fare. If Sam Burns wins, let's just say hypothetically, Jordan, and he's from Shreveport.
Okay.
And he gets to do the Champions Dinner. How do you, a New Orleans boy, feel if he wants to throw gumbo, barbecue shrimp on the menu? Can he do that as a North Louisiana guy? You South Louisiana people can be a little bit sensitive about Shreveport.
Well, see, my whole thing is though I'm different because my mom's from Shreveport, so
okay.
I'm part Shreveport. Like I'm part 318 great. Right. Like I'm one of y'all a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's stolen valor because there's people in Shreveport that eat seafood and gumbo and all this. So I know Shreveport's kind of like people don't want to hear this, but it's Cowboys country, so it's a little bit of like East Texas a little bit, but still still, Shreveport is Louisiana.
My guy Hester will rip the sword out of the sheath. He'll go fighting for 318 all day.
Oh, yeah.
And look, I loved where I grew up. I'm happy here in Baton Rouge as well. I just know that there are some people that just don't consider Shreveport, Louisiana. It's South Arkansas. It's East Texas.
Yes.
Y'all have bad food, no culture. It's all down here.
Ratchet City.
Look, if Sam wants to put some Louisiana fare on the menu, he's got to win first. Are they going to let the North Louisiana boy do that?
Yeah,
we'll see.
man. Yes.
We'll see. It's shaping up to be incredible, though. People were wondering whether or not Rory McIlroy would. You go one of two ways after he wins the Masters. He wins the career Grand Slam last year. He climbed Everest. He has really nothing left to do in his career other than lanyap. Like, how much can you climb? But he accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish. He's one of 6 players in the history of the game to win all 4 Grand Slams. So you either take your foot off the gas and just be like, all right, I did it, like whatever. Or you're freed up now. He's played every Masters for the last 10 years with this massive weight on his back, and now it's free. I'll just go wheeling. And it looks like the second one now because my man is cruising. He's 7 under. He's 2 clear, and he's hitting the ball great. I would have a hard time picking against him. I have done kind of a 180 on Justin Rose personally because I don't like the guys that play for the European Ryder Cup team. They rip my heart out every 2 years. It is painful. It is disgusting. It is disgraceful. They fist pump all over my dead body every 2 years, and I hate them because of that. But in the last 4 years, it is flipped. And I have gone from, I only like the USA guys, I don't like the Europeans, to, did you stay with the PGA Tour or did you go to live? And the guys that stuck with the PGA Tour, like, I was glad to see Rory win last year. And I have hated Justin Rose for years. He's like 45 years old. I've hated this guy for 20 years. I would have no problem if he won the Masters on Sunday. He has had his heart ripped out twice. This guy lost a playoff to Sergio and a playoff to Rory, 2 European Ryder Cuppers. And he's going to run out of chances. We talked to Scott Rabelais about this. I'm kind of pulling for the guy. I kind of feel for the guy.
I just want to know this, Hunt. Is there, I know it's Live versus PGA, but is there something wrong with the American guys or just not like it what these European guys are?
No, I can't pull for the American guys that went to Live. I despise like what Bryson did. I think.
Oh yeah, I know you don't like Bryson.
I don't like what Patrick Reed did, but he's coming back. Like, I can get Patrick Reed and Brooks Koepka figured out the jig. They took some money. Now they're gonna have to give some back. They're coming back to the tour.
Yeah.
They know where they went was a complete and utter joke, and so they're coming back. But the other guys I can't get on board with. I was thrilled to see Jon Rahm just play abysmal golf. He's throwing away the prime of his career at a hit and giggle that nobody's watching. And so I was thrilled to see that. But I'm looking at this leaderboard now, and there's only one guy on it that I can't have win, and that's Tyrrell Hatton. And he bogeyed 18 to drop to 4 under. He's 3 back. I'm hopeful that Tyrrell Hatton is going to have a meltdown at some point this weekend. He is the angriest player in professional golf. He gets furious all the time, F-bombs everywhere, profanity everywhere, and he completely owns up to all of it. He knows he's a head case. He can't fix it. He just goes nuts. So Augusta has a way of the ball rolls a little bit further away than you want. You can't see this or that. You catch a bad break. You're on the wrong side of the hole, and it can be taxing mentally. And I'm hoping that Hatton just has a complete and utter meltdown and that he blows up and gets out of the way. Other than that, here's the top 10. McIlroy, Rose, Day, Patrick Reed, Wyndham Clark, Haotong Li, Sam Burns, Chris Gotterup, Brooks Koepka, Ben Griffin. Like, I'm good with all those guys winning. I think that there's a very unlikelihood that Gotterup or Griffin wins. Like Max Homa, Tommy Fleetwood, Shane Lowry are there, Xander Schauffele's there. Where did Scheffler go? Did he just have a blow up? Scotty made 2 bogeys on the back 9, so he finished at even par. Scotty's 7 back. I don't see Scotty beating Rory by 7 shots on the weekend. He could. You got to shoot a 66 in there somewhere, but I don't see that happening. But it's shaping up to be a really, really good golf tournament. I'm just curious how the South Louisiana folks feel about Sam if he wants to appropriate South Louisiana with his food next year.
See, that's the problem with Louisiana in general. We should all come together. Everybody wants to be on from New Orleans. We're not part of Louisiana. You know, everybody, Lafayette has the best seafood and all this. Everybody is so we need to come together. We're already so small in general. Everybody needs to come together, man.
That's what the Saints and LSU are for. Everybody comes together.
That's it. Well, then you have the
Cowboys.
Yeah, and then you have the subsection of like the Tulane fans and the ones like,
there are no Tulane fans. There are some ULL fans. They're
not a bunch of them. They're not a bunch of them. Trust, they're like the super prestigious. Like, hey, listen, man.
Whatever.
Hey, if LSU and Tulane, we would have beat them last year. Like, bro, calm down. We saw what Ole Miss did, y'all. Like, please. Like, I know, like, just relax,
Twice.
man.
They did
Literally,
that twice.
you had redemption and you still did it. I was like, relax, man. But,
I enjoy the Louisiana Lafayette fans that just love to hate LSU. That's got to be
love it.
That's got to be a sad existence to hate LSU and to pull for a team whose ultimate goal is to win the New Orleans Bowl. Like, that's a tough look, but it is what it is. Great win on the baseball field a couple Tuesdays ago. Great job by the Cajuns.
And you was there.
I was there, unfortunately. Beat the bad traffic jam, which is good.
Hey, the guy whoever sent you that tip, hey man, shout out to him.
Got up 190. That was great. So that's a look at the Masters leaderboard. We'll come back. I'll give you a thumbnail on LSU and Ole Miss to close it up. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
GoTro's Outdoor Power. GoTro's Outdoor Power. 22 years in business. GoTro family's been rocking and rolling. 2 locations, Airline Highway in Baton Rouge and, of course, on Gonzales. If you're driving on Airline and you see a mountain of orange inventory, that's GoTro's Outdoor Power. If you're looking for a zero-turn mower, we are fully into spring now. It is grass growing season. It is grass cutting season. You need to get to GoTro's and get that zero-turn mower. They've got the largest Hustler inventory in the state by far. In fact, they were National Hustler Dealer of the Year 2 of the last 3 years. Get on by and see them. For those, they've got the largest parts inventory in Louisiana as well. So if you're looking for a part, they can help you out with it. The thing about GoTro's is they've got the inventory. They also give you that customer service. They're family owned and operated. They're right here. They've got trucks running all day, every day. They're able to go deliver your mower with a trailer if you don't have one. It's just that personal touch that you get by working with a local company. So go see them on Airline Highway or in Gonzales. You can always find them online as well at GoTrosOnline.com. That's GoTro's Outdoor Power.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday's show is brought to you by Corks. Check out their whole menu at corksfishandshrimp.com. That's corksfishandshrimp.com. A little bit of basketball news that just crossed my view. There has been a transfer portal addition from Santa Clara, not to LSU, but he's in the transfer portal. And it is Alan Graves. Alan Graves is at Santa Clara. He had a great season for them, 11.5 points, 6.5 rebounds. And he has ties to LSU and Will Wade. His brother Marshall, who went to U-High, played for Will Wade at LSU. Remember, Marshall kind of came off the bench, was a really good shooter for LSU, finished his career in 2019-2020. And his brother Alan, who had that great year at Santa Clara this past year, previously declared for the NBA draft. He's also in the portal, and he has a do not contact tag on his entry. I don't know anything, but the fact that he's from here, his brother played here, and his brother's old coach is now the coach here, and he has a do not contact, and he's looking to transfer, like, that's a few dots I'm comfortable connecting. It would not surprise me at all if LSU landed Alan Graves. Nothing official at this point. He hasn't committed to LSU. Nobody's even crystal balling him to LSU or anything. But he's in the portal with a do not contact. That's one to keep an eye on for LSU. I would anticipate over the next 3 days that LSU starts to pick up some prospects in the portal. The portal opened on Tuesday. Folks are making their initial calls, going on their visits. And so you have some time, obviously. But LSU is obviously going to be very active in the portal. Johnny Jones was announced on the staff today. Earlier this week, announced Rick Stansberry on the staff. Will Wade's been hitting the ground running. So I would anticipate on Monday I'll have a segment on my show about some transfer portal guys that LSU's either gotten commitments from or have been linked to LSU or visited LSU. And I think that Graves is potentially one of those. So one to keep an eye on in the transfer portal. As far as LSU baseball goes, I did 2 segments on LSU baseball today personally, and then we had Michael Katz come on to talk about Ole Miss. And I think I made myself pretty clear in how I stand on this. I expect LSU to have some trouble with Ole Miss's arms this weekend. I don't know if Stanfield's going to play. I don't know if Dardar's going to play. They might play all 3 games. They might play 2 games. They might play no games. I don't know. But Ole Miss's staff is full of dudes, and LSU has struggled with dudes. They struggle with Kentucky's dude. They struggle with Tennessee's 3 dudes. They struggle with dudes. And you're getting a lot of those this week. So I don't expect LSU to score a ton of runs this weekend. Question is, does LSU's pitching staff step up to the plate against an offense that has a very poor identity in Ole Miss? They don't get a lot of hits. They strike out a lot. They haven't hit a ton of home runs. They hit some, not a ton. They don't move the baseball. They struggle with runners in scoring position. They hit for a low average. Can you match up with them? And that's the question you got to ask. And I'll be honest with you on this Friday. And I've told you on a lot of Fridays how I felt good about where LSU was and thought they would come out and play well. I have an uneasy feeling about this weekend because of Ole Miss's pitching. And if LSU struggles to hit and then they play some poor defense, Ole Miss at home runs a couple balls out of the yard, like that could spell trouble. Tonight's game, Evans with Cowan ready, with Guidry ready, with Sheeran ready against Hunter Elliott, who I think is a nice SEC pitcher, not a dominant one, is vital. If LSU wins tonight, I'll exhale. If LSU loses tonight, it's going to be a long Saturday and Sunday that I'm going to be apprehensive about. And you've got to go there and at least get 1 game. I'd love to get 2. You got to at least get 1. And the best shot, your best matchup is tonight. So we'll see how it plays out. LSU and Ole Miss tonight, 6:30. Catch pregame over on Eagle 98.1 at 6 o'clock. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so Seiya Suzuki has rejoined the Chicago Cubs after missing the start of the season with a sprained right knee. Suzuki activated from the 10-day injury list before Friday's game against Pittsburgh. So the Cubs finally getting back on track. Take it or leave it.
Leave it. My ace is out for the year, all right? That's a problem.
I tried.
You did. And look, Shota Imanaga is throwing a no-hitter through 6 innings today for the Cubs. So he's not going to finish it because he's at 100 pitches, so they're going to take him out. But
I'm not a fan of that, by the way.
You got to. You can't let a guy go out there and throw 150 pitches.
Well, right now he's at 100, but like the whole guys only doing 5, 6, and come on, man.
It's just modern baseball analytics. That's why Jay Johnson didn't want to go to the pros because they tell you what to do. So look, I'm watching every day. I'm focused every day. My excitement has been dampened because the best pitcher we have is going under the knife. That's just a tough scene.
That is a very tough scene. So, according to NFL's Ian Rappaport, the Jaguars are going to use Travis Hunter as a full-time cornerback next season and a part-time receiver. So, okay. Hunter last season played 489 snaps during his rookie campaign. 324 of those were on offense. So, the Jaguars making the right call with Hunter. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it.
Thank you.
I feel like it's best to do one.
Yeah.
You just struggle if you're asking a guy to do everything. Like, how good can you get at everything if you're being? How good can you get at anything if you're being asked to do everything?
Everything, yes.
That's the thing. So if you want to get the best out of him, like I understand the thought of saving a roster spot, but I mean, make him specialize. He's as good an athlete as there is in the entire NFL.
Yep.
Let him do something awesome instead of do everything okay. That's kind of my thought.
And also, we're not going to act like the Jaguars don't have this loaded receiver room all of a sudden.
Yeah.
If you remember, they traded for Jacoby Myers. They got the Parker Washington guy and obviously Brian Thomas Jr. Right. So you're in that cornerback. Let's go put the number 2 pick at cornerback. And, occasionally you have some type of packages. We'll throw them in there. So you're not going to like this one. But the Pittsburgh Pirates might be going through a renaissance as their new dugout celebration is taking Pittsburgh by storm. There's this traffic cone shortage in the city as the fans are stealing traffic cones and going to the games because – when they hit a home run or whatever, they hoist up the cone. So, are the Pirates? Could this be the year they're not mediocre anymore? Take it or leave it. Okay.
You did. You know my downtown Pittsburgh story. I've told that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So look.
So you enjoyed it.
Get rid of the parking cones. I need to drive. I got to find out my way to the airport. For those that don't know, I was trying to leave early in the morning from a Pittsburgh hotel to get to the airport, and the Pittsburgh Marathon was going on, and all the streets were closed, and I was in a pretzel pre-iPhone with maps. This was in 2011. That was a bad deal. I had a MapQuest. I had a Word document in my hands. I'm like, I'm looking at the cop like, where do I go? He's like, well, I got there in time. Saw Brett Musburger in the airport. was after LSU beat West Virginia up there in 2011. It was anxious times at like 4:45 in the morning. So if they're taking the traffic cones away, perfect. That's good news for everybody.
But that's it for take it or leave it.
All right, that's it for take it or leave it. My official pick for the Masters. Look, I took Patrick Reed to start, so I got to stick with that. He's only 2 off the pace. I think Justin Rose has a real chance, but my pick is Rory McIlroy for now. I've covered like the entire board. So I still get credit for Patrick Reed if he wins. If we look at my bets that I made back on Wednesday, a couple of them are toast. Dustin Johnson's going to make the cut, so that's no good. Need all top 10 from Xander, Ludwig, and Rose. That is in play because Rose is there, Xander is around, and Ludwig was bad yesterday, but he's still in the mix at even par. So that one is in play. What else do we have? Harris English top 10. That's in play as well. He's right there. Akshay to win. That one's going to be tough, but that was the longest shot. So we got some decent bets that are in play. We'll grade all that on Monday. Have a practice report from LSU's Saturday workout inside Tiger Stadium. And, of course, we'll react to LSU and Ole Miss and the Masters tournament. Looking forward to that. Everybody have a safe and wonderful, happy weekend. And we'll be back Monday. Same time, same place for the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. That's where you can find the entire inventory at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You know, summer is coming, and obviously with that comes road trips, comes vacations. If you got a big crew and you feel like it might be time to get behind the wheel of a new car for that family vacation, there are great SUVs at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. On the Chevy side, you, of course, have your Tahoes, got your Suburbans as well. Maybe you're looking for a GMC. They've got Yukons. They've got Denali's. If you need a new SUV, get on by St. Francisville and see them on Highway 61 at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You can start that buying experience online at FabryChevrolet.com, but go by and see them. You know why the Fabry family has got such a great name in this town. It's because of their unbelievable customer service after the sale. They're so proud of this new point in St. Francisville on Highway 61, so get on by and see the entire inventory there. I've told you, great deals on trucks, up to $11,000 off on Silverado. The entire inventory is at FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com.